Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this first electronic online meeting. My name is Bill Chase. I'm the maid here aboard the Haggerty Girls. Tonight, I hope to show those of you who have not used this format before what benefits may come from using this form of electronic online meeting. Essentially, what I've done here is to put together a brief PowerPoint presentation, and the idea of that is to show you how this format can be used to exchange information, ideas, forms, etc., things that we could all use almost instantaneously to share information. This should take us maybe about 20 minutes to go through this. Basically, I'd like everyone to kind of see what the format looks like, what the platform looks like, and to get yourself comfortable with it. And at the end of this brief broadcast, I'd like to get some kind of feedback from everyone so we can determine whether or not this format can work for us. So that being the case, this is the next slide. You should all be looking at my desktop right here. Some of the basics about this meeting. This is basically a trial subscription to GoToMeeting. It only allows for 25 attendees. If you want more, obviously you've got to pay for that. And if it looks like this is something that could be helpful to us, certainly I wouldn't mind dropping the $59. It's $59 on a monthly basis if this is what we choose to use. Anyway, if for some reason, it looks like there are about 14 of us here right now, if for some reason that number jumps up to 25, the 26th man will not be able to log in. However, once again, if it looks like this is something we choose to use going forward, then we could accommodate up to 100 members, which, when you think about it, that's a pretty good chunk of the membership here. Just a quick little test. If you guys could just type into the chat box where you're at, how you're hearing my voice, if everything is coming in fine, where you're located, what the weather's like, etc., things like that that might help us. Okay, I see Mr. Keene. Chris, hi Chris. Albany on the Meredith. Jamie, hello Jamie. Gray, Maine, I bet it's cold up there. Cold right here in Boston. The Right Hour Twins is seeing Long Island Sound. I hope your connection holds up. I hope mine does too. I'm actually sitting here using my iPhone as a hotspot. One of the lucky guys. Hi there on the Nicole at Tremley Point. Nice night in Boston, but boy, it's about to get really cold. Okay, so I guess we've got communication. And let me just go on to, I've got maybe a dozen pages of this PowerPoint presentation. Some points that I just kind of put together between last night and this afternoon of what I think are some important things for us to consider. Stephen down in Delaware Bay. Hi, guys. One of my favorite boats. Okay. Anyway, on to the next slide. All right. Well, what's this whole thing all about? Well, as I said, this meeting is basically to test the effectiveness of holding online meetings for our rank and file members. The whole idea of this is to get as many members together in this electronic format without all the time and expense involved in travel. I know from my own experience, getting to these meetings in Newark can be easy and cheap for some, but for others it's a pretty good hike, and it's expensive, it's time consuming. So the idea that was brought forth by some of the members here was that, why don't we try to use a GoToMeeting or one of the other online formats to accomplish the same thing without all the travel expense and time. Obviously, we are all split up here, there, and everywhere. Some of us are home, some of us are on the tug, some of us are on watch, some are off watch, obviously. So the suggestion by some was that this would be the best format to do that. So the idea of tonight is basically to test it out and see if it works and see what everyone thinks. The last sentence is important, at least for tonight. We're not here to discuss specific issues, but basically just to decide if this modern, if you will, meeting format would be helpful to our membership. So if you've got comments about union issues, and certainly there are several, let's save that for another time and see how that works. Tonight, let's just focus on trying to see if this format works for us. If it does, then we'll move on to the next step. So here are the objectives. Once again, we'll just run through an outline of what these online meetings are all about. We'll discuss how they can help the union membership in ways I just mentioned. And we'll try to answer questions from everyone involved. Once again, most importantly, we will need feedback from all as to how they view the experience. Does it work for you from where you are, whether you're at home having a beer or sitting on the tug, off watch, and how that all works for you. So that's the idea for tonight. And I see Mr. Gasick has arrived. Hi, Bob. Bob, are you in Myrtle Beach or are you on the tug? A little bit of a delay there. Anyway, rules of the road. I'll be acting as the moderator in this format. And, if it were not me acting as moderator, it could be, for instance, someone down in at MM&P in the health insurance department that could answer questions directly here to all the members. So think of me as the guy that would have the information that you may be looking for. You are the attendee. Those are the two categories we have here. You have the ability to type questions in the chat box, which you've been doing, and we can all see and respond to those comments. You'll also have the ability to speak to the whole group, but I'll control who speaks and when. Otherwise, it would just really probably turn into craziness. So anyway, and please keep your comments brief and to the point. Any derogatory comments directed toward anyone will get you a game misconduct penalty. I'm a big hockey fan, and game misconduct happens when your behavior is just over the top and you get tossed. So let's just keep it clean and to the point. This is an information gathering meeting only. It is not for the purposes of discussing any union matters other than the potential usefulness of this type of meeting for our common good. I can't underestimate that comment. I mean, I can't estimate that comment enough. That's what we're all about. Please use your best choice of words when addressing the group. In other words, no cussing, boys. All right, some of the pros and cons of this, and there may be things that some of you could add to this. The first thing that came to my mind is anyone anywhere can listen in and participate, and this gets back to the fact that some of us are home, some of us are aboard the tug, and some of us are off watch. So these meetings can be scheduled for anyone to listen in from wherever you are. You can use your laptop or your smartphone. I see somebody's got an Android. I'm not quite sure how that software works with this, but I'm sure we can figure that out going forward. And once again, as far as the feedback goes, if any of you are on smartphones, I would love to know how that's working out for you. Back to the pros, information can be shared immediately to all interested members from the union leaders, or if it wasn't the union leaders, it could be, once again, the insurance people. Travel and the related time and expense should be unnecessary. Once again, that's okay. I see, Chris, the Android is working. The expense of getting back and forth, I mean, it's a lot. Let me just stop there if I could for a minute. I want to give you a little bit about my experience here and what I'm looking at. I was at the first meeting, which I think was the 4th of December, maybe, down in Newark. I drove down there. It took me several hours to get there. It was basically an all-day affair. And it probably cost me, I don't know, $100 in gas and tolls or whatever. But to me, that part wasn't important. But going forward, there were going to be more meetings here, one would think, and to attend all these meetings could get pretty pricey. I know there's a couple of guys on this boat that are very much pro-union guys who want to go, myself included. But on the 23rd, I'm getting off, flying down to Myrtle Beach. And, one of my other shipmates here is flying out as well. So, we're debating, do we want to spend another day in Newark to get to the meeting, or do we want to get the hell out of Dodge? So, I mean, these are the kind of things that we have to toss around when it comes to trying to get to these meetings. The best of intentions sometimes get overrun by the things we have to do in life. So anyway, I think that's one of the biggest pros to this whole thing, is to eliminate that the expense of it all. And the next bullet here is also incredibly important, I think. Using a format like this, I believe, makes for a very informed rank and file who are better prepared to make important decisions. And I'm going to put, obviously the health insurance issue is huge. And if we accomplish nothing more than the ability to disseminate information so guys can make more informed decisions using this format, then I think we've accomplished something pretty good. And my last pro here is that this could be used in place of mail ballots for voting. That one, I don't know. I'm going to leave that one out to the guys that are smarter than me to figure out. Maybe that's a possibility. Maybe it's not. But again, I'll leave that to those that know more than me about it. On the cons, as I see some of you are probably experiencing, you need a good wireless signal to participate in this. And I was really kind of sweating where we were going to be here at 1800 tonight to make sure that I had a good wireless signal to act as the moderator here. These meetings require an invitation and an access code, as you all know. Certainly that information could be shared with other parties. It's not completely secure, but it really would require a trader, and I use that term loosely, to let other not-so-interested parties in. So is it completely secure? No, it's not. I'm not quite sure there's any electronic means that is. And then the last thing, I think the guys sailing down in the Gulf would miss out if they're underway in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico somewhere. So those are the downsides to it as I see it. Rank and file issues. And I use this term rank and file a lot because basically that's all of us. That's all of us as union members. One of the biggest issues, obviously, and I don't want to sound redundant, but staying informed is kind of difficult. And word of mouth, obviously, something that's part of the maritime world, is inherently inaccurate, and a really tough way to inform yourself with the matters of the day. And once again, we always have membership that's divided in half home, half for aboard, and everyone crew changes on different days. A lot of issues, a lot of things that make it difficult for everyone to stay informed. A lot of us are flying to and from different, myself included. I mean, personally, I spent the summer up here in New England. which is my home. Was my home, I guess. My adopted home now is in Myrtle Beach, so I'm flying back and forth, typically on Spirit a lot. So lots of travel to make all of these meetings. And, you know, it's just the bottom line is it's expensive to get back and forth to these meetings. The union contract, as we all know, expires on July 1. There are several matters that obviously need to be addressed prior to this date. And that gray line there, time is of the essence, really fits in here. We started, to my recollection, we started back in November really talking about this seriously. And it seems to come in waves. You know, it seems like, you know, there's a lot of interest at peak times, and then it just kind of fades away a little bit for various reasons. So I think that this format may very well help to speed all that up. So, and we've got, you know, a very important decision to make regarding health insurance, and I think it would be tragic if that decision were made by a small minority of guys who either were or were not informed as to the issues of the day. And maintaining, you know, a strong and informed rank and file obviously is increasingly difficult when union memberships are decreasing nationally. That's a little bit of a political statement on my part, I guess. Trying to stay away from the politics of it all, but I am very much a pro-union man. I think a strong union makes for a strong company and some very engaged members. So, but I'll leave that right there. How can this be helpful now? Once again, back to the health insurance. This decision, again, and I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but it's a very difficult decision, and it's not the same for each and every one of us. Myself, I'm 61, so I'm retiring here when I'm 66. It's just, at this point, it's just myself and my wife. So my health insurance needs are far removed from those of you who are just raising families. So I think a lot of what's driving this whole idea of using this format has a lot to do with the decision on health insurance. And I think that if the guys down at MM&P see what this is all about, and see what a great tool it would be for them to inform and educate everyone, it would certainly benefit them as well as us. You can schedule these meetings very easily. I could schedule another one for 1900 right now if I wanted to, send out an email invitation to all of you with the access code, and we could do it all over again at 1900. The point there is that this doesn't require emails, phone calls, word of mouth to get everyone in travel. It's here, it's now, and it's very timely. And, you know, really the bottom line is this is a great format that will allow you to ask questions directly and get answers immediately from whoever you may be talking with, whoever the moderator may be. So, and the last page, once again, I'm trying to keep this brief. The last page is where do we go from now? Where do we go from here, rather? And when this meeting is over, just give yourself a chance to think about the points that I've tried to make here. Hopefully you'll all see that this is a great way for us to communicate, disseminate information, and keep the whole union membership very informed. Don't be afraid to say, hey, Bill, it sucked. I don't want to do it. This is crazy. That's fine, too. But feedback is important. So wherever you are from, if you're on a smartphone, if you're on your laptop, if you're down in Delaware Bay, Tremblay Point, Albany, wherever you happen to be, it's very important to give us some feedback so that so we can put it all together and see if that's where we want to go. So that's basically what the points that I'm trying to make here. I can actually let some of you guys have a word and speak to everyone, see how that works out. If somebody wants to have a word, just type in your name there. I will unmute you and let you speak to. So we have 22 attendees here. All right, Jamie. Let me unmute you, Jamie, and let's see how that part works out. Okay, Mr. Eller, you have the floor.
Can anybody hear me?
I can.
You can. Okay, good. Bill, first of all, I want to say thank you very much for putting this on. I think this is a great format, and I think MMP would be crazy to not use this. I mean, the last meeting they had 2 weeks ago, there were 3 people there. We have 22 tonight. I mean, that speaks words right there alone. And trying to get these meetings scheduled, I've been fighting with Tucker about it, and it's like pulling teeth to try to get anything out of this guy. If we use this format, the information can get out so much quicker to a lot more people, and I think it would be extremely helpful, especially with the insurance. And that, again, like you said, that's a good thing. I think the biggest thing this time is going to be insurance. So that's my 2 cents. Let someone else speak. Thanks again, Bill.
Okay, appreciate it, Jamie. And by the way, thanks for everything that you have done. Obviously, you've been on the front line of all of this for quite some time. I'm a supporter of you, and this is all going to be driven forward by guys like yourself. And I just want to say thanks.
All right, thanks, Bill. I appreciate it.
All right. Who else wants to have a word here? Anthony, let me find your name here in the chat box. Anthony, we'll give you the floor. Okay, Anthony, you have the floor.
How you guys doing? I don't know how good the service is right now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how good the service is right now, but this is a great idea. The fact that we have all these people coming in right now is awesome. So if we keep doing this, I think we can get more and more people coming to the meetings.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree, and I just passing the word. I mean, there's 22 of us here, which is a pretty good number, but certainly there are a lot more of us out there that that could be involved. More and more guys like yourself, Anthony, that pass the word and say, hey, this is a great idea, be around for the next meeting. That's what's going to make it become easy.
Yeah, I received a text, and I sent out a couple texts and group texts with the messages, so as long as everybody does that, this should work out pretty well.
Where are you located, Anthony?
I'm on the boat right now on the Daisy. We're heading up to Marcus Hook.
Okay, so you're on the way to Delaware River, okay.
Yeah.
Right,
So that's all I have to say, and this is great. So thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it, Anthony. All right. Anyone else want to have a word? Who was after Anthony? Steve Haginski. Hold on a sec, Steve. Let me find your name. Oh, okay. All right, Steve, you have the floor.
Well, sir, can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah, can you find Steve? Go ahead.
Yep. No, I think this is a great idea. I notified all my crewmates on the roof. I don't know if they wanted to participate or not. They talk about it quite a bit. But in any case, I think this is going to work very well because one of the problems I've always had is I live far away from the boat, and it just it doesn't make any sense for me to spend all day and, like you say, $200 in fuel to go down to a meeting. So, no, I like this idea a lot, and I agree with you saying I think the biggest issue we're going to have is health insurance. I think that is the biggest issue we're going to be facing with this contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I know a lot of the guys with with as I mentioned before, a lot of the guys with growing families should really be tuned into this. As I say, it's easier for a guy like myself at this stage of my career and my wife to, kind of go with a cheaper plan, but that's not what unions are all about. Unions to me, are about what's best for all the members, and I know that my shipmates here on the Haggerty Girls feel the same way as well. So appreciate your comments, Steve. Who else? Darren. We'll skip over anybody. Mr. Short. Hold on just a sec. Okay, Darren, you got the floor.
How do I have the floor? How do I have the floor? I didn't ask for the
Because
floor.
I have to give it to you, buddy.
Okay. I'm looking at the numbers. You got 3 boats. I'm showing 24 attendees. Maybe my computer hasn't updated. You got 3 people that showed up for a meeting in Newark. If you count the fact that we have 3 boats with 6 people each, we're looking at 40 people making this ad hoc, thrown together meeting that was announced 2 days ago, 3 days ago. That's incredible.
Too. Yeah.
That's incredible.
No, I agree.
And your slideshow, the PowerPoint presentation is phenomenal, Bill. Great job. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We can the biggest thing. I'm new to all of this. I try to take a back seat. I have some technology experience, so I try to contribute where I can. That's what I've been doing. It's insane not to do this, particularly with our industry. We're spread out all over everywhere at any given time. We can pick up and deliver more information to more people with this. Run 2 meetings, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. You got everybody. Anybody that wants to participate and have a voice has it. And that's the biggest thing, is getting the information out. And I don't understand why it's not already there. I don't understand why they don't employ it already. So,
well, we I have the same question, Darren. Why isn't it being used? And of course, as you and I both know, because we've been on this together, I think what we're doing here is demonstrating to everyone how this works and how it would help us going forward. So, and if we do nothing more than that, I think we've accomplished an awful lot.
And while we don't have the ability to record these meetings at the free membership level and the 25, I'm recording it on my computer right now, and I will be posting that, once it's converted, so other members can see, other members can participate. They can at least know what was said. They can see what was said in the chat window. They have access to the information, and that's the biggest thing. Get the information out. Let people know what they're making a decision on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. This would be, as I said before, this would be an incredible tool for MM&P to say, hey, this is what we have, guys. And by the way, there's a meeting about this. If you're interested, come and ask questions. We did have, in that meeting back on December 4th, once again, I'm not quite sure I have the date right, we had a conference call with Patrick. He's the insurance administrator down at MM&P. The man obviously knows his business, very informed guy, but there were only, 7 or 8 of us in the room at the time. So that information just kind of runs into a dead end. Even with the best of intentions to try to get it out, it's just difficult to do. So if we could share Patrick on a format like this, with everyone asking the questions they need to ask, I think that we'd be light years ahead of where we are right now.
Agreed. And I'll do what I can. You posted the rate for this if we don't get some cooperation out of uh, whoever's in charge, whether that's Ron Tucker, uh, AMG, whoever. It's $59 a month. It's billed on an annual basis, so it's like 720. Hey, you got 12 guys willing to kick in $60. We got this covered. We'll take care of it. If that's what's
Mm-hmm.
best for everybody, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Hey, let me just give you a little side note to that comment. Originally, and I think I had it on page 2 or 3. This was set up as a free trial membership. Well, I got a text from Donna, and we're going to hear from her in just a minute, I think. She said she had invited or had sent out information to 80 different individuals, and I said, "Oh my God, what are we going to do with this? If 80 guys show up and there's no room for them to get in, they're going to say, oh, this doesn't work." So I went and spent the $59.95 for the month just to make this, an actual paid subscription. So we do have room for 100 right now, and we've got that for a month. The good thing about it is, if it doesn't work, and I suspect it will, based on the comments so far, if that didn't work, I could cancel the subscription at any time. So I'm not risking a ton of money. I just think $59 is important, and this issue is important enough where $59 didn't matter. So I went out and got that full subscription to it. So any meetings we have going forward here, there'll be enough room on the server, I guess, for 100 people to attend. So I think it's that important.
Well, it's that important, and I think that you need to be reimbursed for that expense. I'm showing 24. You keep saying 22, but that includes 3 boats with 6 members viewing. We're almost at 50.
Yeah.
We're almost at 50 people participating in this that was thrown together.
Yeah,
So
it
we're
was
there.
literally thrown together. Even the PowerPoint, I was typing that out when I should have been sleeping last night. But PowerPoint's not difficult, right? I mean, if it's something that we can use to get the point across, it's that important. So anyway, by the way, Darren, as with Jamie, you've done an awful lot for everyone. Just the information you put forward and the ideas you put forward. Same thing with Chief Tom off the dean there. Tom Seifert's done an awful lot towards advancing all of this. And there are other guys as well, Bob Gasek, I know, and all the guys that are at the first meeting that I met. And I don't mean to single anybody out. I probably shouldn't go down this road because so many guys have done so much for everyone. But it's guys like yourself, Jamie, and everyone else that push this along, and that's what's important.
Well, thank you for the voice, Bill. Thank you for everything that you've done, and please give somebody else the voice because I hate my own.
All right, very good, Darren. Thank you so much.
Muted.
Okay, Donna on the Twins, I think, wants to have a word. Let me find you here right now with Twins. I know that they're on Long Island Sound. Can you hear us there on the Twins?
Yes, we can. We are. We can all hear you, Bill, and everybody.
Hi, Donna. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. It's a little, it's quiet up here in Boston, tied to a dock, so we're going to enjoy a quiet evening tonight. So this all, from my point of view, came together very nicely. Any comments from you or the gang on the Twins there?
No, we just want to reiterate what you've said, what Darren said, what everybody has said so far. The PowerPoint presentation is awesome. Again, putting this together and getting it out to everybody within a couple of days, and how much response we've had. And like Darren said, we had 6 of us here on the 1 Hour Twins here in Long Island Sound. So I think this is a great format, and I hope we can move forward with it. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you get the $60 worth. I wanted to send it out to as many people as I could. I didn't realize there was a limit so far.
No, that's quite all right. I was kind of thinking about that anyway, but when I saw the number, I said, oh boy, I want to make this work. I want to, it's that important once again. So I didn't mind $60. I can handle it.
Absolutely, I agree. So, no, continue on, and thank you, and let's move forward, right?
Okay, very good, Donna. And by the way, to everyone, when we get done with this meeting, whether you like it or you don't like it, please send your comments along to my email address. I'll put them all together, and if I have to send them down to a certain person down at MM&P to make the point, I'll be happy to do that. So everyone, please remember to send me an email with your thoughts on this when it's all over. So thank you for your comments, Donna, and thank you for everything you've done for the union over the years. I know everyone realizes how much you've put into this.
Well, it's all for everybody, and here we have our Chief Anthony, we have Chad, we have Matt, we have Dylan and Nick here, so it's for everybody. That's what it's all about. Thank you, Bill.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Donna. Let's see, anyone else want to have a comment here? Chief Tom, this guy, I want to tell you, he's done so much. You could have educated yourself just by following what Tom has put out there. I know I have. Hold on just a sec, Tom. Let me find you. All right, Tom, if you can hear me, you have the floor.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, good, fine.
All right, good. Hey guys, thanks everybody for getting on here. I think this is a great idea, Bill, simply for health insurance reasons. There's a lot of information out there. I have a lot of information that I'd like to run by people that I've done some research on. I'd like to use this personally for, there's a couple of guys. There's a benefits guy named Ken Ryan, and then there's Patrick as well, who's directly in charge of the healthcare. So, there's more than just the healthcare benefit. There's other benefits as well. So I think it'd be a good idea for them to get on here and kind of tell everybody how all those benefits work and what we could and can't utilize from the union. Because there's more than just, like I said, this healthcare. So. And on top of that, I need a place to share all this information that I've acquired. I have some Excel spreadsheets that I've acquired. What Rheinauer is paid for healthcare costs. I've gotten some information from some outside sources of ways to supplement our healthcare costs. So there's a lot of information to be had, and a lot of information that guys need to kind of read up on so that everyone is on the same page and they know what they're voting for themselves and their families.
Absolutely. Was there, I thought at that first meeting, I was sitting right next to Roger Lash, a guy who, by the way, I really like. And Roger had something about a union pension. We never got the details because we kind of got off on the whole health insurance discussion. To the best of your knowledge.
It's a no-go. I'll explain more, but I believe it's a no-go.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my shipmates here, and his comment was, "Hey, look, they contribute annually to our 401k, and that when you think about it, that's probably as good as you're going to get it. If there's a better pension, obviously you'd want to be involved, but I think what we already have may be better than whatever they could offer from a pension point."
Yeah, it's not necessarily better, but there's some high limits to it and some penalties that could be incurred. So I'll tell everybody about it if we get into that. But yeah, just so everybody knows, I was one of the guys that went to that meeting on I don't know, it was 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, and just so everybody knows, the meeting went fairly well, brought up a lot of points, and, healthcare is the number one. That's where the most money is going to come out of our pocket or go into our pocket. So that's kind of where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay.
So thanks a lot, Bill. I appreciate you doing this, and I really hope that we can get some of those insurance guys on here so that we can kind of educate everybody. I think this is a great forum for that.
Oh, it is, and I think once they realize that it benefits them, as union managers as well. I don't see how you could not want to plug this in as, make it part of your toolbox. So,
Yeah.
I mean, God, it's 2016. The whole world is using this format to communicate. I mean, I personally take educational classes with it myself. I know one of my shipmates here does as well, his wife does. So, it is a great tool. And so I'm glad we're getting some positive feedback. What's important here, and someone in the comment box I was just reading while you were talking to Tom, someone said, do we have an email list yet? And clearly we do not.
I kind of do.
Okay. If
I probably have about 20 guys. I don't know how to expand it, and this would sure be a good forum to do that.
Well, I think anyone who responds to my link there to my email, obviously that'll be saved on my mail server, and with everyone's permission, we could start to put that together, because typically what this format does is, let's say for instance I wanted to have a meeting at 1900. I basically come to this, to GoToMeetings website, set up a meeting, set up the time, and then you just drag all the emails that you have, and it goes out immediately. It includes the link, and it includes the access code. So, I mean, you really got to have that email list to make this more effective. So,
yeah. Well, I'll be sure to send you that email list I've acquired.
Okay, very good. And we'll just
all right, thanks. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tom, for everything you've done. Much obliged. Let's see. Anyone else want to have something to say here? Boy, the chat box is really filling up here. Thank you, Joe, for offering to chip in. I want to take you up on that on crew change. Let's see. What else have we got here? Thank you, Jake, as well. Yes, I can email a PowerPoint to you, Darren. That's no big deal. I'm just going through the chat comments. There's quite a few of them. Okay. All right. Anyone else wants something to say? Anyone else want the microphone and the floor? Just type your name in real quick. Mr. Swanwood. Hold on just a second, Benjamin. Okay, Benjamin, you should have the floor. Can you hear me, Benjamin? Oh, your microphone is muted, Ben.
Okay, how about now?
There you go. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. I just had 2 quick points. I was back at McAllister in 2010 when we were going through our attempt to get in a 333 at the time. And, while we didn't have anything like this, and we didn't have any like sit-down meetings over at the Union Hall or anything, we did have, all the boats were basically centered at the yard. So, there was a lot of word of mouth, and you could jump boat to boat. But, with the ATBs, we don't really see each other that much. So it is hard for us to get good information passed along. So I think this is good. But we also got to realize that when, while this is good, we are still going to need people to show up, at the office when it is time to go talk to Joe Lukenda and all them in the office. Because, if we're not going to do that, then, what's the point in all this that we're doing right now? That was thanks, Bill.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Ben. And that actually someone above this vessel made that point to me this afternoon, that that's very important, that everyone shows up when it comes to that. But once again, my thoughts here tonight were just to kind of show everybody that, hey, we can do this. And but going forward, I absolutely agree with you, Ben. When it comes time for that, I'll be on a plane myself, regardless of where I am, to be there because it's that important. But I think if we can just get together and once again, if we do nothing else but help ourselves make a decision on the health insurance, we've got a long way here. And I will say one other thing, Ben, and that is that this particular format may not be appropriate for every single meeting. There are some times, as you mentioned, that you've actually got to show up in person, and make your presence known. And this is not the know-all be-all, but this is a great way to get everybody together, especially when we're all scattered all over the place. But once again, your point is a very good one. When it comes time to show up for that, we've got to be there.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Let's see. Get down to the bottom of the list here again. Okay, if no one else wants the floor, I guess we'll call it good, folks. And wherever you are tonight, be safe and stay warm. And don't forget, send me an email. Give me your comments, good, bad, or otherwise, and we'll share it along with everyone. So all the best, guys. Be careful, be safe. Bye now.